Chapter number 16, Object-Oriented Programming. Now, Python is an object-oriented programming language. Almost everything in Python is an object with its properties and methods. There are two things in object-oriented programming. As you can see, there's a class and an object. Now, what is a class? A class is like a blueprint for creating objects. Yeah. Now, let me elaborate this statement a bit more by giving some examples. So, suppose if you're in a construction business or an architect, you create a blueprint of the actual construction you want to create. Yeah. So, that blueprint is, you can think of it as a class, and the actual um, building which you create using that blueprint, you can think of it as an object. Yeah. Now let's think of another example so that it is clear. So suppose you want to build a lot of Harry Potter statue. Yeah. So if you want to do that, to create many Harry Potter statue, you first need to create a cast or a mold. Yeah. So you will create a cast or a mold, and then like for the Harry Potter statue, and then using that cast, you will have you will create a lot of statues of Harry Potter. So this cast will be like a class, and the actual statues will be an object. Yeah. A class can have there's a init function, which is which is like same as the constructor in Java, and it can have user-defined function as well inside a class. Uh, Now this init function is called automatically every time you instantiate a new object. Also, a class can have properties inside it. Now, what is an object? As we already talked about, object is an instance of a class. A self parameter inside is a reference to the current instance of a class and is used to access variable that belongs to the class. Now, this sentence will make more sense when we go and have a look at the example. So here is our example. Now, the idea of this example is to create a class and few objects, and just to show you how object and class work. So the highlighted portion is a class, a definition of a class. So I've got the keyword class here, followed by the name of the class, colon, and then I'm defining a init function, which is, you can think of it as a constructor, and this init function gets called every time you instantiate a new object. Yeah, so we'll talk about that, but before that, let's just concentrate on this. So what my this init function has, it has got a self word, so it is basically when I instantiate, it has got access to all the parameter inside that class. Now this init method takes a parameter, the make, so a variable make, a model, and the age. Yeah. So the idea is a class is defined, and it will have inside it the make of the car, the model of the car, and age of the car. Yeah. Now let's try and create an object. So this statement where I'm saying car1 equal to the name of the class, followed by I'm passing three variables. So I'm saying the make of the car is Toyota, the model is Auris, and it's an 8-year-old car. Yeah, so I'm calling that. So as soon as this statement executes, it basically calls this init function and passes in all this value and creates a object car. Similarly, I'll get an object car2 by passing in creating an instance from the car class, and I get two objects, which is car1 and car2. So next I'm doing is I'm printing uh, what is there. So what I'm doing is I'm using car1.make. So I'm printing the value of make, the model, and the age of car1, and then printing the same for car2. So let's execute this. So it is saying the car is Toyota Auris and it's 8-year old, and the next car2 is Audi and is 4-year old. Now let's have a look at a slightly different example. Um, so here I'm trying to use the same car class, but here I've defined, so I've got the same init function, but I've got a method as well inside it. So I'm saying line number 13 and 14. So I'm creating an instance of a car called car1. So car1 is my object, and I'm passing in Toyota Auris 8, so make model age. And then to display, so in our previous example, we had to write a print statement. Here I'm just calling a function inside this object. So car1, the function display, that belongs to the object. And when I say display, it will execute line number 11, and it will say like self.make is the make of the car, model, and so on and so forth. So similarly, same for car2. So let's have a look, and then um, let's discuss 18 and 19 line number after we run the example. So there you go. So this is my output, and it is basically same as last time, but we are using now display um, function of the car object. Yeah. Now here, line number 18 and 19, what I'm doing is after the object is created, I want to change the age of the car. Yeah. So the age of the car to initially I gave as 4, and then I want to change the age of the car. So you can do that using object car2 dot age and 5, and then again when I run the display, I get the age of the car is 5. Yeah. So you can change, you can work with the object and change the anything you want, like the three things you passed in make, model, age, you can change and play around with that object. So just an example to show different variation of object and class. So next we'll talk about inheritance. So Python implementation of inheritance. So inheritance allows us to define a class that inheritance all its methods and properties from another class. Yeah. So when you talk about inheritance, you talk about a parent class and a child class. Now, what is a parent class? A parent class is a class being inherited from, also called as a base class, and child class is a class that inherits from a parent class, also called as derived class. Yeah. Now all this will make sense if I take you to this example. So in our the similar car example, I've got a parent class and a child class. So in the parent class, I've got same example. So the idea of this is the parent class will have some feature of a like generic feature of a car, like how many doors are there and how many seater the car is. So every car will have door, and every car it will be number of seater car, yeah, 4 5 seater car, 7 seater car, etc. So the parent class will have a generic feature of the car. The child class will have more specific feature of the car, like what is the make of the car, what is the model of the car, etc. So I've gone in here with two level, like parent class, child class. You can go 3 level or more level if you want to. So as you can see, highlighted portion, the parent class has got door and seater, and I'm assigning the values, whatever will be passed, and then I've got a display function where I'll say the car is um, X number of doors and X number of seater. Now, if I look at the child class has got, so child class, the syntax is class, the name of the class, and then from where it inherits. So I'm inheriting so my parent class is car and my child class is car make. So this is the syntax. So again, the child class will have this one is having an init function and I'm passing in. So child class is having all four parameter make, model, door, seater. Now we know that the parent class, which is car, already takes care of door seater. So all I need to do is super. So it'll call the parent class and it'll call the parent init function and pass in door and seater, and this will get called. And then I'm using the assigning the value of make and model in this car make object. And then I've got a display function as well where I'm displaying the feature of the car. Now, line number 24, 25, I'm creating an instance of a car make, yeah, passing in all four values. And then I'm calling the display function. So I'm calling this. So let's run this. Yep. So I'm passing in all values and I got the car is Audi 5 door and 7 seater. Let's run it again. Yep, much better. Yep, just added more space there. So there you go. This is example of inheritance. So yeah, please do practice object class, object, and inherited the parent-child class. Thank you. I have provided the links in the description below for the Python and PyCharm download. I have also recommended 3 Python books to enhance your knowledge. If you like this video, please like, comment, subscribe, and share. Thanks for watching.